Hello. Within the last week, I have seen diametrically opposite ways of sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ within my nearest city, Kilkenny. One method was done by a man from a Brethren congregation who stood with a couple of placards and he was issuing tracts. I chatted with him for a few minutes and wanted to commend him for the work he was doing. We both agreed that the word of God needs to be proclaimed. He was critical, however, of another method that he'd seen, whereby Christians were setting up in towns and praying for people who needed healing. I contested that Jesus healed 10 lepers, yet only one came back to him. I also reminded him that it is the goodness of God that leads people to repentance. Jesus blesses people in the hope of their coming to salvation, but salvation isn't always guaranteed. It wasn't back in Jesus' time, and it isn't now either. Being a member of a Brethren congregation, he protested against healing, and I reminded him that the gospel is the power of God unto salvation. With this power comes the miraculous, even in our day. A few days later, I was on the street myself as part of an evangelistic outreach. The leaders of the operation wanted to offer prayer to those who were in need of healing, the very approach that the Brethren man was opposing. They feared that the display of placards with the gospel message would frighten people off, so they were happy to employ a low-key approach. I walked up to folks, offering small gospel cards and sharing my testimony, and then thanked those people for listening. So, what is the proper way to do things? Was the Brethren man correct? Were the people offering prayer correct? Was my approach the way to go? I'd say all methods were right. Mark 16 reads that signs and wonders will follow those who believe. 2 Timothy 4:2 says, preach the word. Luke 8:39 says, tell of what Jesus has done for you. What is wrong is criticizing or trying to control another person's method when what they're doing is actually perfectly scriptural. It's even more wrong when you're doing nothing yourself to share the good news of Jesus Christ. My advice is to do what sits well with you. Don't try to duplicate another person's ministry. Your ministry will flow out of who you are. You do what feels natural and expect God to do the supernatural. Let the last words go to St. James. Turn a sinner from the error of his way, save him from death, and cover a multitude of sins. God bless you.